10 in a row for Tracy Cortez. Gotta think she's getting a big name in the UFC women's flyweight division.
Telling my friends and family I was gonna fight here one day. They laughed at me. I'm here today, baby. Don't quit. Keep believing in yourself, you guys.
Tracy Cortez!
Welcome to UFC Unfiltered. Please tell me that's on video. I've never been happier. I'm made for a fucking podcast. That's dangerous. Listen to me, we're at it.
Welcome to UFC Unfiltered. Good show today. Tracy Cortez, I believe, is making her debut. And Carrot Top, who I haven't seen in a long time, who I do know. I like him a lot. Is also coming on the show, making his first appearance. Now, Matt, I was thinking of you today because I was, of course,
In the shower.
no, I was not thinking.
sorry.
No. I know what you're saying. On the toilet. No, I was training, and Mike had this young, I think he's a blue belt named Martin, training with me, and it's just, I mean, I've never been more tired because this kid was so. He was so good, and he was so hard to choke, and he was so good at getting out of things, and again, he was only helping me defensively. He wasn't trying to submit me or he would have choked me out.
Of course, but how
But
much
just
fun?
a guy like this, moving the way he moved, it's probably the most exhausting thing I've ever done. And now I'm starting to learn the triangle.
Oh,
But the triangle is difficult to get in, or maybe this kid was just really hard to choke. But I mean, my leg, I just was leaving too much room on the side of the head. I wasn't cinching my hip properly. I'm hoping all that comes with time.
Jimmy, I love that we're able to talk technique now.
Yeah.
In jiu-jitsu.
Very basic.
You always got to remember, you commit to a move, but you don't force it. If the triangle's not working, trying to force it, you got to see why it's not working. And then sometimes the beautiful about jiu-jitsu is you commit, but you don't force, you flow. I'm going for the arm lock. It's so hard to get. He's pulling it out. What do? We flow to the next move, the triangle. Triangle, I'm having a hard time finishing this. All right, if I can't finish it, let's go to omoplata. So you're going to be learning the flow. And you know what they say from the Last Dragon. When you got that flow, you feel the energy. When you got that flow, I think they said the glow. But
I would hope they said the glow.
It would help. Jimmy,
I'll tell you one trend I've learned to do from when a head and arm choke isn't working, when he begins turning out of it, turning it into a Kimura. That I've pulled off a few times as he turned a certain way and wound up on his side. I was able to pull it into a Kimura.
You might have to teach me that one because it sounds nice. Jimmy, I'm just loving you're on the
he was turning, it was very good. He was turning, and I was able to get over there as I lost the head and arm choke. I was incompetent, and then I wound up spinning it into a Kimura. I'll show you how to do it. You'll believe you'll be in awe.
Please, Jimmy, I got the white belt academy. I got the white belt mentality. I want you to teach me.
Yeah.
Hey, Jimmy, you know who I want to thank? This morning.
You don't have to. I'm here every week, Matt.
Well, that goes without.
Okay.
My lovely wife went in with a few of her cousins and her aunt to go see my buddy Mark Consuelos and his wife.
Oh, yes.
In Mark and is it Mark and Kelly Line?
And Kelly, yeah, he's doing the morning show with his wife.
On the morning show now, and I know Mark for a while now. We met. We were going to do something.
Did he train or no?
No, he didn't train, but we were going to do something. He was going to do some kind of reality show with me, and it ended up getting picked up or anything. But we became friends through that, and just by chance, my wife always watches the Kelly Ripa show.
Sure.
And now her cousin got her tickets to go in. So I go, let me let Mark know that if he sees some cute Italian women to the side, that might be my wife, and wave to them. So he gave them the total VIP treatment when they went. So that was so nice. So my buddy Mark Consuelos, thank you so much. What a sweetheart of a guy. What a real sweetheart of a guy.
Very nice, yeah.
I like that. Carrot Top, let me ask you.
Sure. I'm not Carrot Top.
No, I'm sorry. That came out. I was asking.
No.
So mean. Jimmy,
Yeah.
the great comedian.
Yes, he's very funny.
Now, If there was, this is what I want to ask. A lot of times I'll ask comedians like who they look up to, and you hear the usual, whether it's Richard Pryor or George Carlin. Now you hear some of the same names, some icons.
Sure.
I don't know who Carrot Top looked up to when he got into this, because if there is prop comics, I think he's a well-known prop comic.
That's what he does. Yeah, he does props.
I don't know. Was there any prop comics before him?
Yeah. Sure. Jonathan Winters, I think. I would. The legendary Wid is. He's not famous like Carrot Top. He's very funny. He's really, really good. He's out of the Philadelphia area, and I guarantee you, Carrot Top knows Wid. He's a really, really. There's a crazy manic brilliance he has.
Well, I don't know. And Wid he does the prop comic thing.
Oh yeah. Like it's a stage. It's like a hurricane went through the room. It's a pile of shit when he's done. Very funny. Listen, I am a casual when it comes to the comedy.
Sure. I heard of Carrot Top. Everybody heard of Carrot Top.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear your friend Squid.
Wid with a W.
I'm sorry. See? Wid.
But that's okay. Carrot Top is how he did the Tonight Show, and it's such a memorable name. Carrot Top is so easy to remember. Carlin referenced him in a joke. I guess he did. Jake is reminding us AT&T commercials, which I didn't remember. Really? I'm always jealous when comedians get commercials because I never get them.
I remember I was in a Vegas club one time and I seen him in there, and he was walking around like a tank top on, jacked.
He's jacked, yeah. I think he's slimmer now.
Well, that guy looks like the fighter. I don't look like the fighter. That guy, Carrot Top.
And he's a very nice guy, though. He's a very humble.
Nice. Did I see him on Rogan? I seen him somewhere.
He just did Rogan, I think.
Seems very nice.
Yeah, he is. He did Tough Crowd years ago. He has a sense of humor about himself. He doesn't take himself seriously.
Well, it's a good thing because he's a comedian.
Yeah, some guys do, though. Some guys do.
Jimmy.
What's up, buddy?
Does it feel weird to be on the wrong side of 55? How old are you?
55.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It's the right side. It's right.
No, it's the wrong side. I'll be 56 in July. I'll tell you how it feels.
Tell me, Jimmy.
It sucks, but I know I don't look 55.
Yes.
I don't act 55, and I'm lucky to be 55 because I've, a lot of people don't get to make it to 55. A lot of people don't get to be 55.
And the rumor has it you can't drive 55.
No, I can't. I don't do double nickels ever, unless I'm going backwards in reverse down a driveway. I'll do 55.
That's a song.
I know.
Oh, you didn't?
Of course, Sammy Hagar.
Jimmy. I thought you were just answering me about your driving habits. Yeah, I don't drive fast. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, no.
And Tracy Cortez, she's fighting. She is fighting Jasmine. Go ahead. Give me that last name.
No, I thought you were going to just Sudavicius. Yeah, just Sudavicius.
So her and Jasmine are fighting.
Yeah.
And I like that Jasmine, when it says for like her style,
like
it says brawler. I don't know why that's funny.
Who else would Bruce Buffer call a brawler? Was it Derek Lewis? Or was it Roy Nelson? Who else would Bruce Buffer? He's a brawler. He's saying Tuivasa and Derek Lewis. Okay.
Yeah, Tai Tuivasa is a brawler.
Yeah, I love it.
Did you catch any of the fights last night? The if you didn't, I don't want to put you on the spot.
No, I was working. I always watch them on delay. I always watch fights on delay.
Well, he handed out some contracts.
He handed out 5.
Yeah, damn right he did. And they look good. James.
By the way, 2 guys who lost even got win bonuses. It was a great night.
Yeah. You want to read over guys?
I say it was a great night too and also UFC. Let's congratulate everybody. WWE and UFC, by the way, Matt, before I forget, the merger under TKO Sports.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
What does that mean for the layman out there, and not Mark Layman, for us? What does it mean?
I mean, I don't know if it means much to the average fan. I do know that they are, I guess, both owned by TKO Sports. I know Vince McMahon is on the board, I think, at TKO. Yeah, I don't know exactly corporation wise what it means, but I'll just say it's a giant power move of the UFC, which is the biggest combat sports, and WWE, which is the biggest non-combat wrestling. Really, I mean, entertainment, however you want to say it.
Speaking of power moves, dude, I'm gonna do a power move with my wife tonight. She looked great leaving this morning. I'm sorry, that's the way my mind works.
Sure,
because dude, if you're gonna be a bear, Jimmy, be a grizzly. Come here, mister. I'm gonna fight you, Jimmy. All right, Jimmy.
Well,
Jimmy,
you like a hiney, Matt. I know.
I'm a hiney. I'm an ass man. All right, Jimmy. Listen, we have a lot of things to talk about. Really quick, let's read off the winners of last night's contracts, if we don't mind.
Sure. I don't have that in front of me, so I have to scroll to it, so you can do it.
All right, I'll start it off then. Gene, it's spelled Jean, so it's either Gene or John. But
or John, yeah.
Jean, might be. Matsusoto versus Kelsey Tanner. That was good. And he had some nasty lead kicks. Yeah. So he got a contract, well deserved, and he's a young kid too. He's only 23 years old. That's crazy. Julia Polastri, 25 years old. She had a banger with Patricia Olojas.
Yeah.
I said that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead. You take the rest. These guys did great.
No, I'm just saying she got a sub second round at 405 rear naked choke. Also, Stephen Wynn earned a contract with a round 2 TK over AJ Cunningham and Jonathan Diniz over Eduardo Nieves. I'm really fucking ruining everything today. God damn it.
Man, you guys are happy. They don't give a shit how you pronounce their names. They did great.
No, it matters.
It does.
It matters.
Sorry. There's one more.
I'll usually go over names before if I remember. Let's just say Janata Deniz earned a first round TKO contract and James Lontop a decision over Malik Lewis.
And what's nice about that Janata is he's a former kickboxer with a bunch of knockouts and stuff.
Yes.
So he should be. That's a welcome addition to that to the heavyweight division. That's nice.
Yes.
I like it a lot. We got fights coming up this weekend, dude. Major fights.
Yes.
Understand? And before we have Carrot Top, is Carrot Top in the waiting room?
Jake has not said that he is, so I'm going to assume he's not. Yeah.
Right,
you just let us know. I'll thumbs up.
Yeah. Until he comes on, let's talk about some fights, huh?
Okay. What do you think about Grasso-Shevchenko?
Wow.
The rematch.
Right to it, you're saying.
Oh, yeah. Just in case we don't, I always want to do the main because sometimes we get busy and we wind up not having time at the end. So I want to make sure we get to the main event.
My thing is, I think that, Alexa Grasso, the champ, she did her homework. You've seen her take back and she capitalized on it. I'll be surprised if Valentina throws anything spinning. I think she's going to make the corrections. And besides that, even though Alexa had a great night, I think Valentina, being the champion that she was and is in her heart, I think she's going to be making whatever corrections, especially that one correction as far as this showing her back. Yeah, she shows her back. Alexa shows that she can take her back. So I believe that she'll make the proper corrections and she'll win this fight. Yeah, I think Alexa will make it through, but I think Valentina by decision.
Yeah, I think you're right too. I think Valentina, look, until she's proven herself to be such a smart fighter, she makes such great adjustments on the fly. I think with a full camp, knowing how she blew it, we haven't seen Valentina hungry for the title. Like we've seen her defending it. We haven't seen her fighting for it to earn it in quite a while. So yeah, I'm going to take Valentina. I think she wins by decision as well. I think she wins. I'm going to say she wins. I'm going to go 49-46 on 2 cards and 1 card 48-47. That's how specific I'm going to be.
That's very specific.
Yeah.
Almost too specific.
Well, let's see. 49-46, 49-46, 48-47, and new. That's what I think.
Okay.
But I'm wrong all the time, Matt. You know that. Now, Kevin Holland, Jack Della, Maddalena as a co-main is fantastic. That could actually be a main event on a fight night. What do you think?
I'm looking over here. Wow. You know what? Wow. Well, I mean, Jack's undefeated so far in the UFC.
He's unbelievable. Yeah, he's 15-2, 5-0 in the UFC.
Wow. But the thing is this. I'm looking at the guys he fought. And this is going to be a no offense to those guys. They're all tough, obviously. But this is a step up with Kevin Holland.
Sure
and
is.
I'm going to give the experience. I'm going to give that experience, obviously, to Kevin Holland, that UFC experience. So, Carrot Top's in the rating.
How do you think he wins? Before we bring in Carrot Top, I think Kevin Holland as well, and he did stop Ponzinibbio TKO and Chiesa submission. How do you think he beats him? I think he's going to sub him.
I think by knockout, third round, Kevin Holland.
Okay, I say he submits him.
Knockout TKO.
All right, let's bring in Carrot Top. I've not seen in a long time, and when I'm ever in Vegas, I say I'm going to go and see his show, and I kind of wish that I had done that already, but I've not.
Nice, bro.
I typically don't go see other comedians, but Carrot Top is a guy who's different enough from myself where I would feel like, yeah, well, I'm not going to wind up accidentally doing his jokes because we're very different. Hey, what's up, Scott? Can you hear us? How you doing, man?
You see me?
Yes, buddy. How you doing?
Good. You see me? You hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
See you and hear you. All good.
Oh,
What do you?
what's
what
in
are
your
you
mouth,
eating?
Mr. Carrot Top?
That cough drop.
Oh, it's a cough drop? Oh,
Yeah.
I see that you're. First of all, I love your look today. Nice to meet you, Mr. Carrot Top.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
My name's Matt. And
Hey,
that's,
Matt.
of course, you know Jimmy.
Yeah.
Hey, Carrot Top, I can't help but notice, besides your headband and cough drop and nice hair, you have a shirt that says anal bleach.
Yeah, I didn't know what to wear. I figured Jimmy might appreciate it.
You're not wrong. I've gargled with it, so you're not wrong. I respect anal bleach.
Now, does anybody besides porn stars bleach their a-holes? Oh,
Did you really?
Carrot, did you?
No, I don't know. I might have. I'm very busy. I have no idea if I did or not.
You might have forgotten you bleached your
I might have forgotten I had done it. I'd done it.
No, did
Either
you?
way, if it was done, I had people do it.
You didn't do it. Yeah, somebody did it
Yeah.
for you.
That's,
Yeah,
the
I'm
most,
not down with
that's what makes it fun. Let me ask you, because listen, some comedians are slobs. You look in really good shape, and I'm telling you, you've been in good shape for a while. I remember. I remember and we're going to talk about your residency in Las Vegas. I was at a club in Las Vegas ages ago, bro. Ages ago.
Right.
And I remember seeing you there, probably in a tank top. I think so. You look diesel then. What do you do to stay in shape? Do you ever mess around with any martial arts?
I carry around all my hate mail. Is what happens.
Dude,
Yeah, I don't know. You know what's funny? I was always an athlete when I was a kid. So when I got into comedy, nothing changed. I went to the gym when I was a kid. I went to the gym as a comic. So it really wasn't abnormal for me to be in shape. And I think just in this business, comedy business, there's not a lot of comics that do take care of themselves and go to the gym. And and people took notice and they're like, "Well, is he on steroids?" It's like, no, I'm just working out. Take it easy. So it's just been part of my life. I like to be in shape. It makes you feel better. I'm running around on stage. It's just part of my life.
Now, I'm sorry, Jimmy. I was asking Jimmy earlier because I love comedy. I do. But as
Thank
far as
God.
I know, and I know there's more. Jimmy was just giving me a little history on it. But as far as I know, and a lot of regulars know, you're like the prop comic. I was like, my question to you is, we've had a lot of comedians on here, and I've always asked them, like, who do you look up to as a comedian? And they'd say, whether it's Richard Pryor and all these other old comedians. Who did you look up to? Because it seems very original, even though Jimmy was shooting off some other prop comics.
There's other guys who do it, yeah, but you're definitely
sure.
by far the.
Yeah, did you?
There's been a lot of prop comics along the way. Funny enough, I really wasn't a guy looking to follow prop guys as more as I was stand up. I like George Carlin. I liked, of course, Richard Pryor. I think I remembered Eddie Murphy's Delirious from beginning to end. There was Jonathan Winters. There were so many comics. There's even comics that weren't on the main, like Gary Shandling there was something about Gary Shandling's cadence that made me laugh. He had a great cadence. So that's what's fun, I think, about comedy in general, too, is not just the writing of how it's written, it's how it's delivered and the cadence of it. And that's why the prop comedy there was a lot of prop comics. Gallagher being one that had
Gallagher, Jesus, yeah.
Gallagher was one of the biggest, and he had a unique way. And in fact, his was as mine is, which makes it funny when people try to compare me to someone like they do a band. They always try to say, "Oh, well, you're like so and so," and I say, "Well, it's funny. I might be like so and so in the sense of I'm holding up visual stuff, but if you see the live show, there's nothing that you could compare me to prop guy wise. I mean, there was, Gary Mulder had a whole different kind of style where he'd have props, but he didn't use them as punchlines to like with the word. He'd just be holding up a sheet of music and do something. It was very clever. Steve Martin had an arrow in his head. I mean, there was a lot of guys that used props. When I came into the scene, I was trying to come up with a way that was different that I enjoyed, because I really did like the visual aspect of it. I thought, I'm playing, to a bunch of drunk people. I thought, hey, it's like show and tell with liquor. They're drunk, but they're paying attention. Look, I'm holding up something you have to see. So it kind of became an accident first to be that kind of style, and then it just became my thing. Then it became like, oh, you're the prop guy.
Did you love it? Oh, I'm sorry, Scott. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. And then I'll just say the only thing that's happened is now, and since I've been done it for almost 36 years, it's the live show has changed so much. I had a couple last night that came to the show, and the first thing they said to me was, you don't do any props anymore. And I said, I do props. He said, no, but like 45 minutes of your show is just telling stories. So it's evolved in a nice way for me, just because I've been doing it so long that I have a little more comfort in telling a story as opposed to being so manic about getting, this cough drop into the show. So it's been a fun process just to try to tell a story.
And you're at a point where you can do what you want to do. When Carlin mentioned you, he used you in a joke, and the punchline was Carrot Top Pat. How happy did that make you to hear him? And you were such a cultural icon at that point that everybody got it and everybody understood the reference. And did that make you realize, like, wow, I really have kind of made it into the zeitgeist?
Yes. In fact, I remember the bit, and I put it in my show for a while. And I said, this is one moment, every comic has a moment they know they made it. Like, I'm on the Tonight Show. This was my reigning moment. Check it out. And George Carlin said, "Who packed your bag?" The Carrot Top packed my bags. And it was one of those, it gives me chills still to this day. Cause it's like you take yourself back to like 9 years old, sitting on your couch, watching a George Carlin special. And then he's mentioning you in one of the specials, and he knows of you, and pop culture, he knows me. And it was a very funny bit too. I mean, it is funny. Who packed your bags? No, fucking Carrot Top packed my bag. It was a great moment.
Yeah. And in Vegas, go check out Carrot Top. He's at the residence at the Luxor and Hotel and Casino, which 18 years, man, that's a tremendously long run for a comic in one place. That must just feel like home for you. You must just love not having to leave Vegas if you don't want to leave Vegas.
Yeah, it's a blessing. I mean, I really got lucky when I got the gig. It's been so much fun. Getting into it, I had no idea what I was getting into. And it's turned out to be magical. I mean, you get to go down every night and do a show, and you go back and get in your own bed or somebody's bed.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Do you work 7 nights? You do like 4 weeks on, 1 week off. Is that 7 nights a week?
Six nights.
Okay, 6 nights a week, and you live in Vegas, obviously. Do you gamble? Like, I always find when I'm in Vegas, I have a hard time avoiding the demons.
See, I am just the opposite of you. I'm just one of those guys. I do not care to gamble. Thank God I wouldn't be here 18 years. I think if I did have a gambling problem, I don't know if it's just the people, if it's just the surroundings, if it's the smoke, if it's just the whole environment. It's not me. I'm believe it or not, I'm kind of a quiet guy, and I kind of just hibernate to my dressing room, and I do the show, and I boogie home.
I don't gamble, by the way. I don't know how anyone lives there and doesn't do it. That's why I don't do it, because I'm so scared. But you're smart. Yeah. You figured it out. Can't do it.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't even know if I figured it out. I just never got into it. Never did.
I'm sorry.
I have other problems like anal bleaching, but
when you do a show, how many nights a week do you do it? The show?
you weren't listening. We do.
Okay, Mr. Carrot Top. I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry, Mr. Carrot Top.
He did say 6.
Oh, you did say 6.
Six nights a week for about 4 weeks. Well, 4 weeks on, 1 week off, 4 on, 1 off. I usually go back to Orlando. I have a house there, and I go back there every break usually.
And you got, I like to see like this evolution because, you know, for many, many years ago, comics were shitty to you. And I think because they thought it made them sound smarter to be shitty to you and you never deserved it. And I like the fact that it's come full circle now and people, you get the respect that you should have always gotten and people understand how good you are at what you do. And you have to recognize that. And that has to make you feel really good.
Of course it does. It makes you feel really good. And, you know, when you're a young comic and you're breaking into the scene, you kind of expect it. I mean, it was, you know, it wasn't like I was shocked that I was going to get all this abuse. I was very to the scene and I got popular pretty quick. I was on, you know, the Tonight shows and all those shows, Regis and Kathy Lee. And, you know, I started doing the college circuit. So I got a lot of success. And it wasn't overnight, but it was for most comics and most people, it was sooner than most. But they didn't realize that it did take a lot of hard work. And I was always shocked though, always that I was like, why am I getting so much abuse if I'm doing my own thing? Like it would be different if I was doing, you know, Jim Norton's act. If I was doing your act, I would see how people are like, what he's doing. He's not even doing his own act. But I was so proud of the fact that I had built this kind of act that was so original that no one would give me shit for stealing it because they wouldn't. It was like a box full of props. Like, who's going to steal a Crime Watch sign? Who's going to run around with it? So I had all my own little gags, and I thought this, they're going to love me for it. They're going to say this guy's original. And so then I found out real quickly that it didn't matter if you were original and clever and funny. It was just you were successful. They hated that I was getting success, and I'd ask people like Jay Leno. I used to do the show all the time. And Jay one day says, people would give me, I said, comics give me so much grief because I'm on your show like every 3 weeks. And he said, you know what, comics give me stick and I give you on the show every 3 weeks. And you know what, you do your 3 weeks, every day, come on, you do your own thing. And he was like, kind of had my back. He said, these guys aren't coming on every 3 weeks because they don't have 3 weeks to do it. They don't have a set to do it. You always call and say, I have a set of brand new jokes. I've got my Trump stuff ready. I've got my whatever Aaron Rodgers helmet is ready to go tonight. I mean, it's like, so there's you write and you have prepared and you go on these shows and then you finally realize it's just all a bunch of crap anyhow. So it's but I have gotten more love in the latter, and I think it's kind of like being part of a family. After about 19 years, you're like, okay, you could come to the barbecue now.
Now, I heard you say you do the show 6 days a week, unless I'm mistaken. Now, when you do that show every night, pretty much, a lot of times comedians, when they're working on new stuff, they go to the Fat Black Pussycat or wherever, and they try out new stuff, and then they hone it. How often do you change up your act? I mean,
every 12 years. No, I try to change it up, literally. And again, as we're comics, so people always have this when they see Chris Rock special, they go, "Oh, I saw Chris Rock, so when I go see him, he's going to have a whole new hour." So it's not how it works in comedy with comics and comedy clubs, but you can change. So I'm very, very strict on my writing. I write something every day, whether it's one thing, or if it's two things, or if it could be a sound bite. It could be a new Trump thing I do, or it could be like I just said, Aaron Rodgers. I have an Aaron Rodgers helmet. The paint's still wet. I mean, it just happened. So I try to include something, whether it's even a little tidbit once a night. So if someone did come to the show in, say, a month, they would say, "Wow, you have a lot of new material." So I'm always constantly trying. Even if it epic fails, you still are kind of the crowd appreciates that you're trying to do a joke on a topic. That day.
What you do is difficult though, because Aaron Rodgers is a perfect example. Like if I try a joke tonight, I'll run it through. What do I think about that? But you have to think in visual terms as well. So like you have you have a Jets football helmet. Will you think of a joke and then go, I got to go out and buy a football helmet? Or a lot of times you're like, fuck, I'm so happy I already have this.
Both. Yes. Both times. Yes. There's been things like, I need an Aaron Rodgers helmet. Or I say in my warehouse, I think I have a helmet. I think we can make this tonight. which is what we did last time. We went into the warehouse and found paint and made it, and it killed. It was, in fact, the biggest joke of the show was the thing's still fucking wet. I mean, it's that new. So it's then the crowds appreciate it. They're like, wow, he's on top of a joke that literally just broke. And sometimes, as you know, you can be too soon. So you can have a joke like the first night the Barbie movie came out. We did some stupid Barbie thing, and no one laughed because they hadn't seen the movie yet. So it took a couple of days to get the joke working, and then by the time it works, and it's out of the show again. So
yeah, by the time it feels good, it's not topical anymore, right?
How was that Barbie movie, by the way? Did you see it?
I've not seen it. No.
Oh, I was talking to Jimmy. Jimmy, you see it?
I have not seen it, no, but I own the outfit. Now, you have a warehouse of stuff. So, like, you could put something down and then in 5 years go, fuck, I remember, I like that joke. I'm going to bring that back. You keep it all in the warehouse.
Absolutely. One of my best ones that I just rekindled into the show was, it's a dinosaur. Imagine a dinosaur on a dog chain. He used to be Dick Cheney's dog because he was old. Yeah. And so now I say, oh, it's Joe Biden's dog. So, it's one of those. Sure. Literally, all I did is dust it off and put it in the show, and it kills. Yeah, it kills.
Yeah, you swap out the old person. Yes.
Yeah, here comes Joe Biden's dog on a lead, and then we added this classified document that's magnet so the dog picks it up off the feet. So it's like a double whammy joke.
Yeah, that's really being topical with that stuff too. Is I always think that certain guys don't get enough credit for how topical and how on top of what's the current events. And Leno, by the way, you mentioned Leno. Leno always got shit, and he shouldn't have gotten shit. I mean, he was like the workingest stand-up as a fucking talk show host. He was a great stand-up, and these guys just gave him shit. And I'm like, for what? There's no reason to be giving this guy anything. He treats comedians great.
He always has been one of the best people in comedy.
Isn't that like with anything? Like when a musician makes it, they're like, oh, they sold out. They're not punk anymore. It's whenever you get too big, isn't it just the natural?
Yeah, that was kind of the term they used back then. Yeah, he sold out kind of thing. And I think, I don't know, if you're an artist of any type, of whether you're a comic or you're a musician, when you the day you think, I want to get into this business, I think the first thing you think to yourself is, God, I hope I fucking sell out. I hope I become. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think the Stones are like, oh, the Stones, yeah, they sold out. They're too big. They're too corporate. I think that's the purpose of getting into this business, is you want to be big. You want to be able to say, hey, man, he sold out, and meaning in a good way. You sell out, meaning, you're not giving your soul to the devil, but you're very popular. I mean, there's comics that right now that are selling arenas out that a month ago were doing comedy clubs, and God bless them. You know what? More power to them. I mean, you know what? Something happened. You became huge. God bless you. I mean, you got the fan base. You got it. Dig it. Enjoy it.
Yeah, selling out is like, some guys will misquote that is when you're successful, all of a sudden but it's like, no, selling out is if you deny all of who you are to make more. That's one thing. But just
That's
using
what I was trying. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was trying to say in the term of sell out, not selling out tickets, but selling your soul. Right.
Yeah, and I think that's it's crazy. And then, was that your first Rogan that you've done? Was your first time?
Yeah.
How did it feel? And did you get any stuff out that you had kind of wanted to talk about?
It was great. It was great because Joe and I had known each other as strippers. No, we had known each other as comics for years, but we never really, spoke at great lengths. We just like you and I, we've known each other for many years. We never really had a discussion like this. I was a little apprehensive going into it, not knowing really. I figured, being Carrot Top, here we go. He's not going to like me. I'm going to be the target. But then I thought to myself, why would he bring me on to have a train wreck? I don't think that's Joe's style.
Yeah.
And then so like a week or two before we were trying to get on Gilbert Gottfried, God bless Gilbert Gottfried, he was on the show and he was just praising me like there was no tomorrow. He kept saying, the funniest guy is Carrot Top. He's the funniest comedian. And Joe Rogan was like, right? Is he not the best comedian that he's smart. He's got this, he's got muscle. I mean, he went through this whole thing. So I'm like, I called my people and I said, I think it's safe now. I think we can go on because they just did a whole love fest. Right. So I went on with a little more feeling that it was going to be a love fest and not another way around fest. And so I got on and it couldn't have been more fun. He talked about just what we're talking about. Comedy, why I got shit, why should I get shit? the success of being in this business for almost 30 years. He's like, these people, who are these people? Why, what's wrong with you? So we got across everything that really I wanted to get across, just to show people that I'm just trying to be a comic, just trying to do this job and do it right, and have a fan base that appreciates it. So it was great. I just did Bill Maher. I just did his last week, and it was funny. The same thing when I did Bill's. I knew Bill, but I kept thinking, is he going to like throw me down this political train wreck of politics? And he did. We talked for 2.5 hours, and it was just about comedy and about life and about anal bleaching. And it was
of course, the most important.
It was a great conversation. And I've had so many people say, I loved that conversation because it was just a genuine chat with Bill Maher, another comic. And both of you talked about comedy, the state of comedy. We talked about politics to a degree, but we didn't get involved in it. And
we'll give him a plug with Bill Maher. He does a show called Club Random, right? Is that what you were on?
Club Random. It was just on
fun. He's sitting there smoking pot. Not you, Karen.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Bill. He smokes pot. He talks to people. I'll tell you, that Bill Maher, he's a likable guy. Yeah. I feel I'm not really a big into the politics. He's so likable and down to earth and stuff. But the second somebody brings up Trump, or he brings up Trump, it gets very negative. And
very negative.
What's that? Oh, that was the actor. Yeah. Very.
That was my horrible Trump. That's what I kept doing to Bill. I kept doing the coming in close to him, and he kept. Every time
he doesn't like.
I come in like, Bill, you do know I'm the only prop comic, the only one.
He becomes like unlikable when you do. But if you like Trump or if you don't, it just becomes very negative. So I don't know.
Yeah, yes. That's why I tried to stay clear. And every time he did anything he did Trump, I just did that impression, and then he'd laugh and we move on. So I'll
watch his show, but when that gets brought up, he becomes just, I hate that guy's this, and he goes, oh shit, took a turn to Negativeville. Did you ever approach Carrot Top? Did you ever approach or talk to any of these comics that kind of shit on you when you going through it? Did you ever talk to them and say something? Hey, what's the deal? What's the deal?
Yeah, I did. A couple. We've made up since, but there was one in general that I'll try to keep it really brief. So I was a young comic. I mean, I had, I was sitting at home in Charlotte, and they got a call and said, "Do you want to open up for Dennis Miller?" And I said, "Oh my God, fuck yes!" And I said, "When is it?" They said, "Tonight. You got to be at Wake Forest University." I'm like, "Well, I'm in Charlotte. How am I going to get there?" They said, "You got to leave like right now." So I grabbed a prop trunk, grabbed about 6 or 7 things. How much time am I doing? They said, "You in like 15 minutes." I said, "Fuck, I don't know if I have 15 minutes." So I got in my car, rolled up there, got it open for Dennis Miller. I'm four jokes in, and it's going incredibly well. I mean, like the best response I could ever. It was in front of this big, huge university.
Sure.
5,000 people, homecoming, and this little Carrot Top, and I've got the little, and I'm doing my. I remember one of the props was it was a car. It was a car that was built in the shape of a ramp. So if you had a head-on collision, you just jump it. And I remember I did the joke, and I said, "Yeah, they should make a car like this. So if you hit someone head-on, you go right over." It was silly. So I put it down, and then I did my last joke was the paper cups and string telephone, and it had a second cup for call waiting. I said, "I got a call, get back after the call." So there were very clevery things. And I look over and I see the guy wrap it up, cut. And I'm looking over and I go, "God, I still got like 10 minutes." And for me to have 15 minutes I was stretching. I was doing it real slow. And then the car jumps over. And I look over, he's like, "Wrap it up." So finally I'm like, I look at him, he looks at me, I'm like, "Done?" He goes, "Done." So I walk to the side of the stage, and Dennis Miller walks by me and he says, "Leave your shit." So the guy says, "Did a great job." And I said, "I didn't even do 5 minutes." He says, "You're fine. You're fine. You did great. You want to watch it?" I said, "Yeah." So I went up to the top of the rafters and I watched the show. And Dennis was sick. I give him credit, but he didn't feel well. He had a Kleenex box. He was trying to go over his notes, and he was talking. And he wasn't one of his better shows. And then he looked down and he saw my little props, and he kicked the cup one. I remember that. And the crowd turned. They were like, "Woo!" And then he's like, "It's a paper fucking cup, people." And then he kept going, and the crowd booed because they loved me, and it was a really clever little prop that I had made. And then he picked up the car and he goes, okay, and he just held it and went okay, and threw it down. Now the crowd really went mad. They were really so. He said, "What is this Topper your cousin? What's going on? What is it family to you? It was the top." He kept saying Topper. So the show was over. It didn't go well. I went off to say hello to him, not about my stuff, just to say it was nice working with you.
Yeah.
And he left, and I said he left. He said, "You want to say hi?" He said, "No," and he said, "Make sure you tell him next time for you to get a watch."
Oh shit!
So I was like, "Okay, that's weird." So then for a whole year and a half, I mean, literally 2 years, 3 years. Every show Dennis Miller was on would rip me, every show. And one time it was a roundtable show, and Margaret Cho was on, and he's going on and on and on. And he says, it's like Carrot Top, here's a guy that's so unprofessional. He opens for me in Omaha and does an hour in front of me when he's supposed to do 15 minutes. Now I'm like, first of all, it wasn't Omaha. Secondly, I never to this day don't have an hour to go long. Sure. I had 5 minutes, and so that's bullshit. So I'm trying everything I can to get a hold of him to set the record straight. And then one day I walk out of my elevator at the hotel I'm staying at in LA, and doors open, and who it is? Dennis Miller.
Wow.
So I said, "Dennis," and he goes, "Hey, Topper." I said, do you have a minute? He goes, "Not really." I said, "Do you have a minute? Just 1 minute." He goes, "What is it?" I said, "We got to set the record straight." So I tell him, listen, I tell him the whole story. It was Wake Forest. I had maybe 2 minutes, and one of them was funny. And then you ripped me for 2 and 3 years in a row saying that I went long on a gig, and I'm not capable of going long. So I think you owe me an apology. And he goes, "Really? Like, this is what it's about? Okay, whatever." I'm like, "No, but you don't understand, like, being a young comic, that meant
Sure.
the world to me. That meant the world to me that he was like going to forgive me for not doing what I didn't do." So I said, "Okay, truce." He said, "Truce." So anyway, we're finally, I guess, friends. Then I end up in Las Vegas, and it's a NBA All-Star weekend, right? And somehow I'm playing in it. I don't know why. So I get there, and Dennis Miller and he's got his son, and I don't know, his other son's friend or whatever. They bring me up into the bleachers to sit for my thing. And who's sitting right behind my seat? Dennis Miller. And I looked and I said, "Wow, I got like one seat better than you." And he said, yeah. He said, "Yeah, this is going to kill me more than the seat." And I said, "What's that?" He says, "My son is your biggest fan. Is it possible?" It's great.
That's funny.
Could you take a photo with him?
First of all, it's funny the way he said it.
That's funny.
No, he said the worst thing this is the worst thing in my entire life to even say this, but my kid is your biggest fan. And if you could take a picture with him. And I said, I'm not taking a fucking picture with your son. And he says, "You're not?" And I said, "No, of course I am." I said, "Hi, your dad." And I said to the son, "Your dad has been so nice to me for all these years. He must be such a good dad." And so Dennis is just like fuming, but he shook my hand. And he said, we're truce. We're good now. We're good kids. So it was, it took 3.5 years to get a blessing.
That's funny though. That is, and we have to wrap up because we do have our next guest in the waiting room. But and it's funny. I just saw Dennis say the thing. Maybe that was many years ago. He's such a nice guy, and yeah. I guess that stuff happens between people. But I'm glad at least he came to realize
we came together in one big love fest. And now we get our anuses bleached together. So.
Well, look, man, I really I like you a lot, and I have a lot of respect for you, and I'm happy that you're going strong. If you guys are in Vegas, really, Carrot Top is a really, really funny dude, and the residence is at the Luxor Hotel and Casino, and you've been there for 18 years, and I've never heard anybody who's seen you live say it wasn't a good show, and I really mean that. Not one person have I ever said it was not a great show. So go see him if you're out in Vegas.
Appreciate it, Jimmy, and as you know, big fans of yours forever and ever and ever.
Thank you, man. It's good talking to you too.
Matt, not so much, but you literally.
Carrot, so nice to meet you, Carrot. I hope we end up in a hotel and the elevator opens up and I see you in person. And we'll talk about all this. And I'll say, how many nights do you play again? And you'll say, you're not listening, Knucklehead. And I'll say, oh, dude, I got some prop comics for you. Anyway, listen.
Good talking to you, buddy.
Hey, listen, big props to you, buddy. Take care.
Thank you, buddy.
Yes, talk to you again, man. Thanks, Scott. Be good. And
one day,
yeah, it's great.
A jiu-jitsu lesson, maybe. Yeah, the great Carrot Top. I was going to ask him about Chairman of the Board, his movie, but
you know what? I know we that was an interesting story with Dennis Miller too. I didn't know that. Yeah, and Dennis is such a nice dude too. I guess that just you know somebody has an impression of you or they don't like you, and that's the way it goes. Tracy Cortez is, I think, in the
Tracy in here
waiting room.
She'll annoy me less than Carrot Top.
He's no, he's great. He was teasing you because you did actually ask the same question.
Yeah, well, tough shit. Anyway, let's have fucking Tracy in here. Nice, Carrot Top. Thank you for hanging out with us. I'm gonna rent Chairman of the Board tonight. That's what I'm gonna rent.
I've never seen it.
Me neither, and I don't think I'm going to. But
what if it's good?
What's that?
Where's Tracy?
Maybe there's a sequel coming out. Let's get Tracy on. Where is Tracy? Tracy Cortez. We haven't seen her fight in a second.
No, it's been 15 months. She didn't get cleared. I don't remember which Florida Athletic Commission pulled her for an undisclosed health. This is December the 3rd. And then the fight went to May, but then she had a hand injury that she had to get surgery for. So I believe it's been 15 months since she fought.
Yeah. Anyway,
I think.
I mean, I wanna see what she's up to because she's undefeated in the UFC. She has one loss overall. She has so much potential. What happened? That's a flyweight division. What is he saying? What is our producer jumping?
He said that's a flyweight division that has a lot of talent.
Oh, thank you, buddy. Thank you. Wait, that's something. Listen, of course it has a lot of talent. She's a major talent, Tracy Cortez. And she's, like I said, she's undefeated, man. But something happened where she was supposed to fight in her last fight. And she was at the fight. And something happened. It got called off.
Was that the Florida Commission? She's in the waiting room. Let's ask her. I don't know if that's the Florida Commission one or the May hand injury. I'm going to assume that was the Florida Commission. But then again, they wouldn't waive her off last minute. I don't know the answer to that.
Well, listen, she's
Amanda Hibat's fight in Florida. Oh, yeah, it was the Florida one. Let's bring her in here, and we will ask her.
Let's find out where she's been.
Yes. She's a very interesting story. Hi, Tracy. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
We're good now. Thank you.
Am I supposed to see you guys?
Oh, well, you don't see us?
Consider it good luck if you can't, because we're not terrific to look at. Matt looks like Matt. He's bald, but he's in shape. I'm bald. I have glasses. I have a fat neck. Believe me, it's like Matt and a bullfrog. Picture those two things. That's what you're talking to.
We got it. That's okay. Listen, Tracy, the fight game misses you. Where have you been?
I want to say I've been, okay, but that's.
Yeah. Is it just life? Is it physical stuff, mental stuff? I mean, you've been in. What's going on? Not the pride, but just the fight.
No. It's just my health issues, injuries. I've been, I want to say this year has been by far one of just a crazy year for me. I've been getting injured, like by injury after injury after injury. And as soon as I was clear to go and train, I got back on the mats. I went to Brazil, trained out there for about a month and a half, and then learned a lot, came back home, called my manager, said, hey, you know what? I'm ready for a fight now. Like I'm in good shape. I feel good. My injuries are all healed up, and I got lucky to get on this card. Noche UFC.
And in December, when you were supposed to fight, was that was the Amanda Hibat's fight that they stopped in Florida, or that the commission wouldn't clear for in Florida?
Yeah.
How long before the fight did that happen?
It was literally after I weighed in.
It was after the weigh. Oh wow. Okay, I didn't realize it was that
I
close.
weighed in. I made the post. I was trying to rehydrate. I didn't feel too well. Medical team called and they didn't clear me.
When they, I'm sorry, Matt. No, you got Matt.
No, I was in London ages ago. I mean, ages ago. And my buddy Gil Castillo, that people probably might not remember if they're young kids, but he was a former middleweight champ. He was one of the, I think maybe he fought for the middleweight champ. But anyway, he was going to fight a guy named Tony D'Souza over in London, weighed in, same exact thing. He felt something, he didn't feel right. And they had to call the fight. So it does happen. I mean, your body goes through things with not only a fighting a camp, but the weight cut. And you take off the weight, you put it back. You never know how your body's going to react. So it's happened before. It's not an odd thing, Tracy. This has happened before.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things where fans, assuming that I pulled out and other stuff, and that wasn't the case. So I spoke to Amanda. She knew it wasn't me. She knew it was a commission, and it'll be exciting to run that back.
Oh yeah.
Had you had a tough cut? Was there anything to indicate to you, or did it just you responded strangely, or did you feel it coming in like, oh yeah, this might be a problem?
No, it wasn't a bad cut at all. I ended up cutting 8.5 pounds, almost 9. But it was just health issues.
Well, and you're okay now?
Yeah, I'm healthy. I'm good, strong.
And your hand is all healed?
Yeah, it is. Feels good. I mean, it doesn't look pretty, but it's healed.
As long as it works.
Yeah.
Well, now, what made you go to Brazil to train? And where did you train in Brazil?
I went to Natal, and I trained at the Pitbull Brothers with nice. Patricio, Patricky, and the rest of the team there. They're incredible. I know Patricio for a very long time. He used to come to Fight Ready and train there as well. So it was a great experience.
Oh, nice.
And you've had such an interesting story, you coming up, family tragedies, and you've worked through all of it. And when you took off a year, I know your mom had passed, and you took off. Was it a year of training, or were you actively fighting at that point?
When my mom passed?
Yeah.
I took off about a year, I want to say.
From training and everything.
Not from training. I was training here and there. Well, I took off a few months from training, and then I just wasn't in a good place to compete. You guys know the fight game. When you're in camp, like a lot of emotions tend to come up, and it was one of those things. And I was young. I was 20. It was one of those things where my coaches and everyone they just saw me day in and day out and how I was struggling. So.
Yeah, because there are moods in life that can motivate us, even bad things. But then sometimes if it's overwhelming, it can interfere with what we're trying to do.
100%.
And you're 10-1. So I'm sorry, Matt. One loss. It reminds me of Chris Cyborg, how she had one loss and then went on a 20-fight win streak. What happened after that first loss? Was there something that clicked in, or did something change, or what happened?
It did. I'm even getting the chills talking about it. God, that one loss freaking kills me. But I was young. I was 18, 19. I was young, and I fought someone that was a lot older than me, more experienced. That was just like a reality check, where I kind of sat in the hotel room and I said, okay, if I really want to do this, I have to do more. I didn't blame the coaches. I didn't blame the weight. I didn't blame nobody. It was me. Like, okay, I need to do more. I need to be more in jiu-jitsu. I need to be more in striking. I need to pick up my card. It was all me. And after that, I told myself, I'm going to work my ass off and I will never be outworked again. So
you went on a tear. You're on a tear. And you even have a win a few years back over Erin Blanchfield, who's doing amazing right now.
Yeah. I've seen her move up in the rankings, and that's exciting. It's very exciting. Respect.
Yeah, and when you see someone like that, that you have it was a split decision win. It was a great fight, and you see her again, they're being talked about in title contention. You have to. Has she moved up in weight, or is she still fighting, or is she at the same weight as you now?
She's still in the flyweight. Yeah.
Oh, she is. Okay. If she does get the belt, you're then in a conversation because you're one of her losses that she might want to get back. So you have to kind of root for her to get the belt if she gets it before you do.
You know what? That would be a great story. Actually, that would be an incredible story. But something that I'm just really excited about for the future is I really hope Alexa wins, because I think it would be an incredible fight to have two Mexicanas, strong-rooted, fighting in Mexico, just representing raza, that Mexican heart. And that's the fight. I respectfully, no disrespect towards Alexa, but that is a fight that I'm really looking forward to, just because we do both represent Mexico very hard. And although I am Mexican American, my roots run deep. I'm a proud Mexican, and I think that would be an exciting fight for me and her.
What part of Mexico is your family from?
Irapuato, Guanajuato.
I'm not. What part of Mexico? I was hoping for a name that I recognized. I'm like a typical ignorant American. What part? What's that near?
It's so the nearest I could think of that everybody knows. It's about 7 hours away from Guadalajara, more south. Oh,
okay. Do you travel there and see extended family?
Yeah, I was there earlier this year in January. I'm gonna go again, probably a week after this fight. Just go spend time with my family, eat some tacos, agua de Jamaica.
Say Mexico again. Could you say Mexico again for me?
Mexico.
Now, if I say it like that to a Mexican, they might smack me. I can't say that like that. Mexico. If I say Mexico, they can be like, "Are you acting with me?" Because it doesn't say.
No.
I say Mexico, but if I say Mexico, they'll go, "Hey, dude, what are you doing? Are you being a wise ass?" Right? It doesn't sound weird if I say Mexico. Yeah, I'm going to Mexico.
I mean, to each their own. I personally, there's some words I grew up speaking like Spanglish. So if there's words that I don't know in English, because you'll be surprised, I naturally start talking in Spanish, and then I just start going back and forth. Spanish.
Hey, listen, I hardly know English, so I'm no good at anything. I just think it's really cool the way you say that in taco. Anyway, listen.
Now,
go ahead, Jimmy.
I was going to say, when you said you get the chills thinking about that first loss, but don't you ever look at it like, hey, there was a lesson and you got it out of the way really early? Like you learned this really important thing on the first fight and then went on a tear. It's like you got that loss out of the way. You never have to worry about when that's going to come. You know what that feels like, and you've done it, and you learned what you should have learned from it.
Yeah, that was a big eye opener for me, and I'm really grateful. Which is going to sound crazy that it, like you said, that it happened early. It was my pro debut. And it was just like a reality check, like, do you really want to do this? And I was like, yeah, I don't like this feeling of losing. I'm not a loser. So granted, I know it comes with the game, but it was definitely, it was a great experience. And because of it, the results speak for itself. And I'm a hard worker. I'm a disciplined woman, and I've got this far. And I want to say the loss definitely took play.
Now, Jasmine Jasudavicius, what are you expecting out of Jasmine? And what do you think she's going to do to prepare for you?
I know she's tough. I know she's a well-rounded fighter. I kind of want to say she reminds me a little bit of me, where we're not good at one thing. We're just really, we know how to put everything together, MMA. And I think that's what's going to be exciting about this fight, where we both like to come forward. We both aren't afraid to take it to the ground, and we both don't mind, the clinch work. It's just very similar. It's a good matchup.
Well, Tracy, look, we're happy that you're getting back in. I know it's got to feel really good for you after this layoff, and now that that's passed and you're ready to go. Good luck on Saturday. You're on a great card, and I think you against Grasso would be an amazing matchup. Also, again, I would take you against Blanchfield as well. I'm sure you would if you had to. But whatever it is, I hope you do well this weekend. And it was good talking to you. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, Tracy Cortez. Thank you very much.
Bye.
I'm glad we worked that out. Isn't she lucky she didn't have to look at us?
Jimmy. That worked out fine, Jimmy.
Yes.
Jimmy, we had a good time. Let's do a proper plug. I'm taking Shevchenko. You said you're taking Grasso.
No, I'm taking Shevchenko by decision. Again, I think she's a smart fighter, and I think she'll make the adjustments that she needs to make. And I don't think she'll make that same mistake twice. It doesn't mean that she can't get her back taken, but I don't think she'll give it up the same way that she got it taken last time.
Hey, man, I'm with you, homie. I'm with you.
By the way, I think the first thing she does is throw a spinning kick when she comes out.
The first thing.
I think within the first, I think she immediately shows that's not going to work again. Almost to get the, I hate to say to get the monkey off her back, but to knock the idea of that down to size, I'll bet you she throws something spinning in the first minute to catch her off guard.
Well, I'll take that bet. We're not really betting. But listen, the thing is this. I think, will she throw something spinning? Yeah, she might. But I think she's going to make the proper corrections, and I feel she's going to get a belt back, and it's very exciting. Jimmy, I can't wait for the fights this weekend. Is it same bad time, same bad channel?
Raul Rosas Jr. is fighting again, too, after his first loss.
Terrence McKinney.
Against, Terrence Mitchell.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's right. Yeah, Terrence Mitchell is fighting.
Oh, shit. Did I get the wrong Terrence? Let me look at that.
Yeah, that's all right. It's 10,000 people fighting. It's difficult to always. He lost a very tough decision to Rodriguez last time after a very solid opening. So it'll be interesting to see the adjustments he makes against Mitchell now that he's actually fighting in the UFC, knowing that you can't just blitzkrieg these guys and win. The things that worked on fighters one step below are probably not going to work on this level. So it'll be interesting to see the adjustments that Raul Rosas makes. And good luck to Kevin Holland as well against Jack Della Maddalena. I think Kevin does wind up finding a way to win. I think we talked about it. He finds a way to win that fight. I think
the experience is going to be the difference in that one. You know what I mean?
And thank you to Carrot Top and Tracy Cortez. Yes. And Matt, we'll chat over there. Congratulations to the 5 who got contracts from Dana, and congratulations to the UFC for merging with WWE under TKO. It's just great news for everybody.
Dude, congrats to you.
That means a raise for us, Matt.
Yes, over 700 episodes.
Tonight, 7 o'clock, Fat Black Pussycat, if you want to see me. And check out Matt at Sarah BJJ out there on Long Island.
Guys, what a great time.
This was fun.
Jimmy, I'll talk to you shortly.
Okay, buddy. Thanks a lot.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.